Welcome to The Actor's Choice, where the actors and actresses have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting by actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, direct from Hollywood, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to The Actor's Choice. Roll it.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince.
How crazy is it walking in here?
I've always been able to recognize chemistry.
Will and Alfonso, from the very beginning, were just playmates.
This is my brother Carlton. He knows we can't afford any bigger clothes, so he just doesn't grow.
Oh, yeah. My first guest today is remembered as an iconic TV mom of the 1990s. From there, she had 3 seasons on Vivian of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. What you just saw is some video that was given to us about the recent reunion that they had. These days, she's a Renaissance woman, respected artist and designer, and education activist. She's a living proof that a passion for creativity and a dedication to hard work can ensure a lifetime's worth of success. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, renowned actress, Daphne Maxwell Reid.
Hello, Mr. Brewington. How are you today?
My day is even better now. Get out the bed for this show.
Excellent.
I had that little operation last week. I had to get out the bed. They said, Daphne Maxwell Reid, get up, brother.
I hope you're feeling better today.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. So, how was HBO Max's The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion show?
It was a blast. It was like a giant family hug. And we had a great time talking about old times and new times and telling stories that others had never heard and having lots of surprises. Will produced the show, and he had lots of surprises for each of us.
Interesting. Okay. All right. So this was the event of the year, they say. That's what they've been saying.
Oh, good. I think it's perfectly timed for the holidays, knowing that you can't go visit your family because of this COVID-19 stuff. And it's like you can sit by yourself and feel part of a family.
Yes.
And it's like having a family reunion of your own just on your TV.
I understand the reunion was on the set of that was the original set?
It was a reproduction of the original set.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't in the same studio, but they found a lot of the original stuff from the show, and they managed to gather it onto this set that they created, and that was almost startling to see.
They told us that the surprise of the special was when Will Smith teared up and reunited with Janet Hubert Whitten, who first played, of course, the role of our Vivian. Roll it, Tony.
I could not do a 30-year celebration of this show and not celebrate.
Wow. Okay. Well, we can all look back and move on. I understand that HBO they're going to do tell me about the show that they're going to do. Another show in mind?
Peacock Network is going to do the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air as a dramatic show. Will is producing it with a new young director that he found and became interested in. And we haven't seen anything of that show, but we did get to meet the producer that day, the director that day.
Yes, ma'am.
And a nice young man. And I hope that their 2-year commitment is a strong one.
Excellent. Okay. I hear you from Manhattan.
I am. I grew up in the project.
In the project, yes. What projects were you in?
The Amsterdam House.
Yes. I was in St. Nicholas. We were in St. Nicholas.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I knew some folks from St. Nicholas Project. Yeah.
I remember them days when we could go and get some fish and chips, get some hot chitlin. I mean, it was just a black. You don't see that now.
Oh, well, you go up on 125th, you might see it,
Is that right?
Yeah.
The last time I was in New York was about 2 years ago, and I'm looking around like this. I went to 125th. I'm looking. I said, "Where am I at? Help! Please go help!"
Right? New
Well,
York has
who this?
changed. Oh, it has changed so much from when
Wow.
we were there. I mean,
Wow.
we watched Lincoln Center be built across the street.
Yes.
So it was that era. And it was a time where there was a lot of cultural things going on in New York that everybody had access to. And it was a fabulous place to grow up. Central Park. And it was, I am very grateful that my parents got out of South Carolina and moved up to New York.
Yes. Okay. I see breaking barriers is nothing new to you. Let's start. You became the first African-American homecoming queen when you were attending Northwestern University.
Yes, that was awkward for me and horrible for them. they were not pleased and did not put it in the yearbook that year because they said it wasn't important. And I made sure that the school wasn't very important to me for the next 40 years.
Wow. And shortly thereafter, you were one of the first African-American women to grace the cover of Glamour magazine.
Yes, I was the first, and it was a surprise to me. I had been modeling while I was in college. I was flying back and forth between New York and Chicago, and that's when you could fly on United Airlines round trip for $25.
Won't see that again.
No, that was the student fare, and I did a lot of back and forth to New York while I was at Northwestern, and one of the trips I went back and just spent maybe 15 minutes in a photography studio. A man took about 15 pictures. And then my mentor said, you can go back to school now. And I went back to school.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was going to be on the cover until I walked past the newsstand and saw it there. And I said, wow. Whoa. And then I found out I was the first one ever on the cover of Glamour magazine.
That's an honor. That is an honor, indeed.
Yeah.
What was your degree in?
My degree was in interior design and architecture.
Okay. Sounds good. That's something you can always use.
Yes, I've used it in my photographic work mostly because I take pictures of doors and I'm just drawn to architectural details. So that's what I've done, a whole journey through a photography. My journey through photography started when I was 60. And I put up a show at a local gallery and seemed to sell pictures off the wall. So I kept going and made note cards and prints and sold those. And then I kept talking about it when they would invite me to different events and gatherings like the Links and the other social groups that would have me come and do a presentation. And I kept saying the same stories over and over again. So I said, well, let me write this down. And I created my first book and went on a publishing journey and learned how to publish, learned how to format my book so that I do it all myself. And I send a file to the printer and say, print it on this paper, make it this size. And that's what I've been doing for the past 15 years.
Good grade. Wow. In 1979, you got into the business with your first IMDb actress credit for your role in the TV series. You seem to like TV series.
I do. The Duke.
Yo.
Yes, Robert Conrad was shooting that series in Chicago where I was modeling at the time. And he discovered me and put me in the script and then made me a regular in the show.
Okay.
And then when I moved to Los Angeles, we kept up our relationship and he put me in another show and I was able to get an agent and my career was off and running.
Yes. Because back in those days, what was it like as an African-American trying to get work back in the days?
I wasn't even considering getting work as an African-American woman. There weren't a lot of examples of that going on. We had Diane Carroll and we had a couple of others who were on television, but it was never a goal of mine to be on television or to be an actress. I was a model and I was hoping to go into architecture. but I just kept working. I was blessed and the opportunities kept presenting themselves. So I kept doing it, started doing commercials and got my, thank goodness, SAG card and was able to have a career on blessings, opportunities, and being prepared for the work when I got it.
You got it. Those opportunities came to you. I'm just going to read a short list. This is a short list of some of the things you did. Love Boat, TJ Hooker, Hardcastle and McCormick, The A-Team, Cagney and Lacey, Hill Street Blues, Frank's Place. I remember Frank's Place.
Oh, yes.
Harriet, The Cosby Show, Once Upon a Time When We Was Colored, and many, many, many. You laid them down, lady. You laid them down.
I have been working in this business blessedly for at least 45 years.
Yes, ma'am.
And it has been a lovely journey. And I caution people that these are not back-to-back jobs. There's a lot of downtime in this resume. And I filled my downtime with the other gifts that God gave me in creating patterns and creating clothes and photography and publishing 4 books and then collecting recipes and finally writing a cookbook. So I've done a lot of different things as well as acting, and then raising a family and now have grandchildren, and I traveled the world just for fun. So
nice to have grandchildren.
It is. That's why we had those hard-headed children.
Yes. You can sit, when you finish with them, bye, go over there and see your daddy, your mama.
That's right.
Right.
Okay, I'm through with you now. Bye.
I'm through with you. I like when they say that. I'm through with you.
I'm through with you.
My God. And then in 1980, you had another role from 1980 to 1982. You played on WKRP in Cincinnati. Oh, yeah.
Well, I was 2 episodes of WKRP.
Right.
And the funny thing was, WKRP was a show that was shot before a live audience. And I had never shot a show before a live audience. And I did not get the opportunity to do it then either, because the 2 shows that I did were shot film style. So it wasn't until 20 years later, when I did The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that I finally got to work before a live audience.
Got you. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, 1993 to 1996, 74 episodes. Not bad. Playing the role
Not
of
bad.
Not bad. Not bad.
None of it's bad.
Indeed. You're working and enjoying what you're doing.
Yes, yes.
And this year you came out with a movie, you're coming out, I should say, with a movie called The Business of Christmas. Can you tell us about it?
Yes. It's a lovely little film about a family that owns a toy store in a Black neighborhood that has been the rock of the neighborhood for a long time. But as things go, the neighborhood is changing and people are coming in wanting to buy out all the mom and pop shops.
Yes.
And we get into a bit of a mortgage problem. We have 3 grown children and they're all off on their own, living their lives. But I like the tradition of Christmas and I would love for them to come back home for Christmas, and they're all too busy. But Daddy has a bit of a health problem and the children all return. And in all of the goings on, we finally salvage the mortgage and have a wonderful Christmas. But how that mortgage gets salvaged is really an interesting little detail.
Can't talk about it.
December 3rd.
Yes, ma'am. At theaters near local theater. They say that.
No, BET Plus.
They crack me up at all theaters. What theater are you talking about? You know.
I'm not going to the theater.
Right. The way that a lot of actors, the way this whole system is working, is they don't do television anymore, but they set up that virtual, and that is the biggest thing, the best thing I've seen. Beautiful.
We've been doing television series. I'm here in Richmond now, shooting a television series. But there are a lot of wonderful protocols that the Screen Actors Guild has set up that you have to abide by, and one of them is a week of isolation in a hotel bubble.
Yes.
And I've been here for a week, and I get to go to work tomorrow because I've been testing negative.
Excellent. Excellent.
So I'm cleared to work, is what they said.
This is not a hoax. This is real.
No, this is a real deal, and I am grateful that they have these protocols.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. In another direction, you added to your publishing resume your first cookbook that you have called Grace Plus Soul Plus Motherwit. Oh, that sounds good. What's in the book?
Oh, it's a memoir. It's a little mini memoir of growing up in New York and honoring my mother and the lovely things that she used to serve her family, because she loved to cook, and you could tell by the taste of the food that she put some love into that food.
Yes.
And I'm trying to encourage people to get back into the kitchen, basically to serve love and to sit around a table and have a conversation over the food that will create a loving nourishment for all that eat it. And I have recipes from so many people that I've worked with over the past 45 years. And it's just a fun little romp through my childhood and growing up. And then stories for each of the recipes of where I got it or who that person was to me. And then I do some humor in some of the recipes, like the Thanksgiving turkey recipe. For people who have never cooked a turkey, encourage them. Say, when you get this turkey, you have to reach in its butt and pull out the stuff that's in there. And they, oh, I get a lot of, there's stuff in there? Yeah. So pull that out. And the neck part too. Pull that out of the top of the turkey before you get started. So I do a little conversational humor in a lot of the recipes.
Wow. My mother's from Charleston, South Kakalaki, and then she was up here. And she has a recipe that cracks me up. It's one that she's no longer with us, but she used to take, you have the sweet potato pie. She would put shredded coconut in it.
Okay. I've had it with pecans. That's really good. I make a sweet potato pecan pie. And sometimes I think my mother put coconut in the sweet potato souffle that we had for Thanksgiving sometime. But you ate a lot of rice down there in Charlotte.
Didn't we though? Give me my white rice.
Yeah, you gotta have rice from down there.
Madam, you have an exclusive custom clothing line called Daphne Style, making Chinese silk brocade jackets that are wearable works of art. Look at that picture. Look at that picture. I said we only have time for one picture. Look at that. That's beautiful.
Thank you. I used to make them for myself for years. I fell in love with the fabrics, and there were so many different colors and embroideries on this Chinese silk brocade. And I would wear one of my little jackets down the street, and people would stop me in the street and say, "Where did you get that?" And I say, "I made it." And they say, "Oh, would you make one for me?" And I would say, "No." And then finally, about 5 years ago, my husband was having a fundraising fashion show and said, "I want you to do a line of your coats for the fashion show." I said, "Okay, for you, I'll do that." And I did a line, and they were buying them off of the runway. So I said, "Okay, I'll start selling them." And I said, "But I'm not going to be a slave to the sewing machine, so it'll be a custom business." So I take orders and make them custom. It's not something you can just go buy off the rack. And then the following year, I made linen swing coats. And that's also on my website. So I have a few of those left from that collection. And they're all bright rainbow colors with just fabulous linings inside to bring some excitement to you. The things that I make, I want you to wear like you're wearing a piece of statement jewelry. It's an additional accessory that you wear over whatever you are wearing underneath, jeans or a gown.
How does a person get to, you said you have a website. What's the URL, please?
It's DaphneMaxwellReid.com. It's an easy one. You just have to spell my name right.
GAPHNE. Yes, indeed.
And that's it. No Y's, no I's, just simple. And that Reid is REID.
There's a lot of things that what else do you do? Yeah, I know you have the cards. Can you talk about the cards?
Yes, I make note cards.
Okay.
In 2008, when the economy crashed, my photography on the wall business was like, no, we don't need anything for the wall. We need to eat. So I honed down into something that was more accessible with my art. And it came out to be note card collections. And now I have maybe 1 or 2 collections. And I did a special collaboration last year with a young writer in Richmond. And we shook hands over lunch. She writes inspirational books and phrases. And I said, why don't we take some of your phrases and my photos and make a collection of cards? So we did. And this set of cards is different than most cards because when you open the card up flat, the photo is across the entire back of the card. So you can frame it and her words are on the inside and the outside.
That's amazing what you can do when you have that knowledge. Amazing.
Oh, it's just fun. It just, what am I going to do next with this? So maybe wallpaper.
Yeah. All around you.
Yeah.
Now, what else you got in the frying pan? Anything else?
Oh, that's all that I've been doing. Raising a husband and having a lovely time. This year, I think I'll learn how to play the piano. I just bought myself a beautiful red piano. Yeah. So
is that good looking fellow? How is he doing?
He's doing very well. Very well.
Let him know we'd love to have him to come on the show. No problem at all.
I will do that. Yes. He's right now very involved in putting up a new television network, a streaming network called Legacy of a People Network. And the legacy is just shortened to LGCY. So it's LGCY of a People Network. And he has all of his documentaries on there and shows that he's created with the students that he has taught over the past 20 years. Mm-hmm. He's got filmmakers in London and Nigeria, South Africa, everywhere. They're all over the world and they submit their work to put on this network. And he's creating a cooking show and a fashion show and lots of different things. It's a great little network.
Right. You guys don't never let no grass grow under your feet.
No, ain't got time for that.
Got you. And with this great...
I'm alive now.
Come on now.
I'm alive.
Come on.
And I'm going to live while I'm alive.
All right. With all this technology, it's so much better. It's amazing what you can do with this technology.
Yes, it is amazing. And we have, thank goodness, grown with technology. We've been computer heads since the early 80s. So I create all of my books myself on my computer and just send a little file to the printer and say, print this. And I publish it myself and I sell them myself. And I've been making masks, of course, because it is the horror COVID-19. And I want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable wearing a mask for my protection. And so I make designer masks and sell them on my website as well.
Here's one of my favorite questions. How do you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered as a person who had a purpose in life and lived her purpose or her several purposes with grace and with integrity.
Say it loud. Say it loud.
Oh. I'm black and I'm proud.
Come on. Oh, James, where you at? Definitely, it's been a pleasure and an honor to have you on the show today.
Thank you, Ron.
And always
you
welcome.
Take care of yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Burn it out and have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season.
Same to you and your family. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ron.
Right. This is the Actor's Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Ladies and gentlemen, to the Actor's Choice Tax Squad, we're excited to announce We're expanding into an e-commerce. Now, next year, the People's Choice, the Actors' Choice, we'll get it right, will launch a new product line, including t-shirts, mugs, totes, backpacks, sweatshirts, water bags, caps, and more. And as a side note, t-shirts come in women and men's sizes, and for that, designs are available in both. Some items will be special order, but you're able to buy all of our merchandise on the website, located at www.theactorschoicela.com. Correction, la.org. And another source to be announced at a later date. So, ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for more exciting news, and we may have a holiday surprise just for the Tax Squad. To be updated on our product launch and all the happenings within the Actors' Choice, go to your website and sign up for our monthly email. That's www.theactorschoicela.org. And thanks for being loyal Tax Squad members. This is the Actors' Choice. I'm your host, Ron Brewington. Roll it, Tony.
Okay, let's slate. Ask a Mexican, part 1.
I'm driving, I'm going, where the hell is Main Street?
Because all the street signs were knocked down, so you didn't know where you were. The intersections looked all alike. Trees were scattered everywhere. Cars were overturned. And the humidity made your eyes pop out.
The other day I'm watering outside and our neighbor, who happens to be Hispanic, he says to me,
So, you don't care for the salami?
What a man pig. Well, I told him, no thank you, I'm a vegetarian.
My second guest today is one of the original members of the performance group called Culture Clash. This is the most produced Latino theater troupe in the United States. He acts, he writes, and he has a great resume. Wait till you see it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Herbert Siguensen. Okay, I just got the word that he's not here. We thank you very, very much for being with us today. We have a bunch of sponsors we want to thank. Hobby Brandman, Photography is an Art. Ron Irwin's Haiku Style, Passion, Heart. Larry Buford's Book to the Future, Time Travel, Message in a Capsule. State Farm Agent Carla Green, and veteran actor Rob Brownstein's Actor Training School and Actor Space. Much thanks to our guest today, actor-director Daphne Maxwell Reid. Thank you, of course, our special guest, to our ever-growing audience. Be well, and we'll see you next time.